What's good, Buckeye School family, Buckeye Nation? What's up in the chat? I see y'all going hard per usual. Great to see y'all. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you have not already. Please consider subscribing. Hit that bell notification. Once you do subscribe, you'll get your notifications come on your phone. We go live, so you can keep up with the content. What's up, Firefish? I see you said, "Hey, B." What's up, man? What's up, y'all? Also, remember, if you do not always do YouTube, hit us up on Apple Podcast for you Apple folks, and you non-Apple folks like me, Spreaker.com. Hit us up there as well. Cover all the bases. We're gonna be talking about some wide receiver room shakeups, more freshman phenom showing out. A lot of good stuff coming out of spring ball, man. This team is exciting and very, very likable on and off the field. Great interviews. It's a good vibe with this team for sure. But also remember, when you send those wonderful super chats, helps to go towards the Pay It Forward, which is our military and our first responders. We're going to look out for them because they always look out for us. And we're going to bring in the homie, Dev from the Buckeye Boys. Dev, yo, bro, UConn just went up 1. Am I still ahead of you? Sorry, everyone. We've been following this Duke
Yeah.
UConn.
He just drained a long 3-pointer. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they're tripping right now.
I'm sorry. I know that kind of was like a curveball, but that's huge. So I'm looking on the score app. I'm looking on my little score app, and so I can't see the game right now. But it says 1 second left. Is that true?
0.4 seconds, man. It's I mean, nah, dude, they ain't gonna.
Wow.
Yeah, they stole it from Duke, trying to get down the floor, and then he shot it from the logo, dude. Number 24.
That is crazy. See, that's March Madness right there. Wow.
Drain that thing, dude.
Now listen, I didn't have Duke winning at all, so it doesn't hurt my bracket. I got Arizona, but here's the thing, y'all. The only team left, in my opinion, and I know this, listen, it's the Final Four, but Arizona, yeah, that's the final. Good Lord. Duke could have beat Michigan again. Arizona, I think if Michigan beats Arizona, it might be a wrap. I just don't know if UConn can match up with them. But Arizona can. So that's crazy. I'm glad I did not have Duke. I had Duke. I was about to put them as one of my champions in my bracket, one of my 2 brackets, and I did not. But that's crazy. Ooh, boy. All right. There you have it. I see y'all in the chat. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I'm going to have to check out the highlights later. But anyway, let's get into it, y'all. So glad to be here. Always glad to be here. Nevada Buck is still traveling. He's been traveling all week, doing his thing. He will be back tomorrow. So we don't have our normal panel show, but we still, we got the homie Dev here and myself to rock with. So we're going to get into some nuggets. Dev posted a fantastic nugget on the scoop board yesterday, and we're going to get into that. And we're going to touch on some other things, some updates, highlights, what's been going on. It was a great weekend of coverage, interviews on Friday, a lot to talk about. So, Dev, let's get right into it, man. I want you to kind of intro your nugget and just kind of, talk about, first of all, how you were feeling. Because it's one thing when you get information and it's like, oh, this is dope. And then you have to type it out and present it. You know what I'm saying? Like, walk us through all of that process, and let's get into the highlights of it.
Yeah, man. For those that watch the show, I'm sure you're well aware of some of the people that I talk to, gather information from time to time. Some of them you know, some of them you don't know. But anyway, this Saturday, it was open practice for some people, not a lot of media in there, but spring ball, man, a lot of new faces in there, a lot of new freshmen. And sometimes you have to kind of compartmentalize these updates, because some of these updates, right, when you're talking about some of these freshmen, it doesn't mean they're making impacts this year. We're just following their career path, right? And I'll get into kind of the first one I want to talk about there. And then some of the other updates are, hey, man, these guys are going to impact this year. So you kind of got to be able to know the team, know where it's heading, and know the players and know who's going to make impacts this year. So I'll do my best, obviously, not coaches here. And when you talk to sources, you get so many opinions from so many different people. And, especially when you're going to type up an article about it, you kind of want to wait till 2 or 3 people are saying the same thing before you type that thing,
Yeah.
because depends what people see. Practices are super busy there, man. There's players all over the place, new faces, new numbers. It's hard to walk up in there and pay attention to everything that's going on. So just because there aren't updates on players doesn't mean they're doing bad. And that is something that I kind of
Good
see in
point.
conversations sometimes. Some people are like, well, what about? Well, what about? Well, man, we just didn't see him today. You can't you
Yeah.
can't watch everybody. But one of the first things that is kind of a given, but it was nice to hear that on the offensive side of the ball, the way Arthur Smith is structuring these practices is visibly different than they were structured last year. The source said it looks more pro to them, right? Things seem to be operating a little bit smoother. And you can kind of tell way attention to detail has picked up a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. So that's one of the first differences that has visibly been seen by Arthur Smith, the difference between Brian Hartline. And, that's not something I really thought about much. When an offensive coordinator or coordinator gets hired, I'm all about, okay, what are they going to do in the game? What doesn't get talked about is, well, how are they going to change practice? How are they going to change prepping? How are they going to
Yeah.
do that? I've never thought about that. So I thought that was an interesting part of the update. Still sticking on the offensive side of the ball. Again, somebody that could contribute this year, but is not directly in the plans, Tavian St. Clair. Tavian St. Clair's is the first name that got brought up by 2 people that I talked to. They just said he is throwing rockets out there. He looks very good, and has picked his pace of play up, the understanding. And that's exactly what you want, right, from the number 2 quarterback on the team. I asked one of the guys, man, is he going to be number 2 this year? And based off super early guys, but based off what we're seeing, David St. Clair is the number 2 quarterback, and that's kind
Yeah.
of projection. And that is amazing news for us at Buckeye Nation, because it can go either way. 5-star QB doesn't mean anything when you get in star rankings. We talk about it all the time. Doesn't mean much when you're cleats hit the ground. It's up to the player and how they do it. But all things are pointing up for Tavian. A couple freshmen that names got brought up in the wide receiver room, man. Brock Boyd just keeps turning heads. Now, it's hard to see him getting in the rotation this year. It's not like his physical attributes stick out like a Chris Henry Jr. would or a J.J. Smith, but
Right.
the consistency and the level of knowledge and physical skill that he has, he might be one of the most consistently brought up freshmen on this team so far, and that's something to say. The other freshman who I've been kind of holding back on a little bit because Chris Henry Jr., right? The number 1 wide receiver in the nation. Because we just had J.J. Smith, I feel like people have been expecting Chris Henry Jr. to come in here and be that type of player. Some have, some haven't. So I've been holding back a little bit. But now I think it's time to stop holding back on Chris Henry Jr. Chris Henry Jr. Made plays all day long. B's about to pull up clips of what he's doing in practice. And he's not just doing it against other freshman corners or not starting corners. He's doing it against all the corners. Here's Jermaine Matthews, speaking of starting corner, right here, burns him for a long pass. Right there. So
Nice
Chris
move.
Henry Jr., yeah, he's living up to the hype right now inside of the Woody. And I had my reservations about him making an impact this year because of Devin McQuinn and Kyle Parker coming in the door. But look at those clips, man. He's living up to the hype. Had a little bit of a rough start. That's known for freshmen. That's kind of how it's supposed to go. But he
Yeah.
seems to be catching his footing, getting more comfortable out there. And he's turning heads, man. Sam Greer. and Carter Lowe got brought up as well. And I just got told that the future of this offensive line room is in good hands. Said those guys look good. And then the last player that got brought up is Kyle Parker. Kyle Parker got his black stripe removed.
Yeah.
Solid player. He's got a couple years of eligibility left. So he's somebody that could be on this roster for a while. Just puts his head down every single day, and I think he's going to be battling Brandon Ennis for some snaps and kind of maybe trading off a little bit with him this year. But we will see. That's it for the offensive side of the ball. B, I wanted to pause there, let you say what you want to say to that.
No, that's good. Let's go back to Chris Henry Jr. And right now, this is just a video of Kyle Parker in his black stripe ceremony. You know what they do, and CJ Barnett comes out screaming on you. That dude is just so energetic. It's just crazy. But yeah, Chris Henry Jr., man, if you look at the clips, we saw an array of things. We saw getting off the line, like breaking the defender's ankles and beating him to the inside, made it look easy at 6'5". Okay, there's that. We saw him being able to blow past Matthews, who is he's an NFL corner. I'm not saying he's the best corner we've ever had, but he's good. Okay, and blew past him. He's using his body like you should use your body as a big receiver. Also, Dev, I know you saw the physicality. He's getting fit. He's a freshman, and he did not come in here built like Jeremiah Smith. He's a little on the thinner side, but he did not back down. He did the hand fighting and won. You know what I'm saying? So to me, and I saw some hater comments like, well, he looks slow. Come on, man. Dude is 6'5", and when he gets in the open field, he can run. Like, what are you talking about? He's not going to look like freaking Kyle Parker out there, in short yardage, but he looks really, really good, and he's only going to get better. Okay, remember, off-season conditioning, he's going to get stronger, he's going to get faster, and then, of course, fall camp. I think he's going to make an impact this year, but just not like Jeremiah Smith. He's going to be used, he's going to play, he's going to make an impact to a degree, but just not on Jeremiah Smith's level. So that's all I had to say about him. And then I'll end with Kyle Parker, and we can keep going. This kid, man, like, y'all, the first day of practice, Ryan Day, unprompted, Devin, mentioned McEwen and Parker. He mentioned them, unprompted. He wasn't asked about them. And so, I think he called them pros. He said, they're coming in and they're looking good, like they're ready to play. We saw Kyle Parker on film in LSU looking very good. He's fast. He can catch the ball well. He's great at screens. He is shifty. And so this dude, and then of course McEwen has been turning heads as well. We saw the speed that he has. So anyway, the point is, it's exciting to see these seasoned and experienced and talented kids coming here and really fill a void, because I feel like we've been kind of top heavy with bigger receivers, and now I feel like we have a more balance with big receivers like J.J. Smith and Chris Henry Jr., for example, and then some twitchier, faster guys like Parker and McEwen, Dev.
Yeah, to be honest with you, if you had asked me a week ago which receivers getting their black stripe removed first, I would have said Devin McQuinn based off the conversations that I was having. But you take a deeper look at it, you see he came from UTSA. Kyle Parker came from LSU with his wide receiver coach. So that's obviously going to make him feel a little bit more comfortable. And also being at LSU, they operate at a higher level than UTSA does. So he's a little bit more used to the physicality. Not the speed, as James Siss said, SEC is a little bit slower in the Big Ten, but he seemed to get the thing going there. So again, the funny thing is people brought up Julian Saint and Jeremiah Smith as well, and I watched the interviews this morning. I didn't have time. I watched Ryan Day and or Cortez and JJ this morning, and I noticed that. They kind of were saying some of the same players that got brought up in this little nugget that I posted about. But you get to see which players are stepping up, and I completely lost my train of thought. And
Were,
why I was even saying that? Why
were
why
you
was I
were you going
saying
to
that?
Boyd? Were you going to Boyd next?
Well, Cortez Hankton brought up Brock Boyd, but no, that wasn't it. Dude, I cannot believe I just did that. What was I
It'll come
saying?
back to
What were
you.
you talking about before?
So I responded to Chris Henry Jr. and I responded to Kyle Parker, in the wide receiver room and how they have more balance of big receivers and quicker, twitchier receivers,
Gotcha.
and how they're experiencing all that. I don't know if that.
Yeah. No, I think that was the end of it there. Talking about Devin McQuinn, and I expected him to lose his black stripe first, but
Yeah.
we'll see. You brought him up, both of them. Ryan Day brought up both of them. I think both of those guys are doing well, but the ultimate surprise here, I think the thing that makes me the most excited overall is the news about Tavian St. Clair.
Yeah.
Number two for me is probably Chris Henry, man. It's Chris Henry. Even though the O-line updates are pretty exciting as well. But let me know when you want to move on to the defensive side here.
Actually, before we do, because you did
Yeah.
touch on Bright Boyd and the Nugget, right? I thought
Oh,
he
yeah.
was mentioned. Let's
Yeah.
just quickly talk about him because I can pull him up right now because I think this is a kid who is just slept on. Brian Hartline and Devin Jordan love this kid, love him, and I know Brian Hartline is gone now, but I mean, he runs great routes. He's faster than you think. He catches everything. He played in a very good division in his state. Like Texas football is not weak, right, Dev? I mean, he played. I mean,
No.
so this is the school Quinn Ewers went to. This is the Dragons. I forget their first name, but they're the Dragons, which I think that's a dope name. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on Brock Boyd because he was, again, I was told behind the scenes, like from a coach, like, hey, like this dude is that deal. Like, watch out for him. And let's be honest, let's just discuss the elephant in the room. Okay. So Brock Boyd is a white receiver. Okay. And so when's the last good standout white receiver we've had? Let's name them. Hartline, Sanzenbacher, I guess Gonzalez. But so it's been a minute. So I think people tend to kind of overlook that. It's like, oh, okay, wide receiver, maybe. We just haven't had one that's been a standout in a while, unless I'm forgetting somebody more recent. The point is, though, don't let that cloud your judgment. He's really good. And so, like Dev said, does that mean he's going to come in this year and no? If he had the physical ability and basically Chris Henry Jr., his size to me is what gets him. He's really good, but you can't coach 6'5" as a freshman. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a receiver like him. He's the tallest, biggest receiver on the roster, even bigger than freaking JJ Smith. So he kind of leaps to the front of the line as far as getting in and being an impact player. But that doesn't mean Brock Boyd lacks ability or skill. That's my point. And so I think he can be really good down the line. And so I just wanted to shout him out, man.
Yeah, this might sound wild, but I mean, I think Chris Henry Jr.'s size obviously sets him apart, but I think athletically, Brock Boyd is being slept on athletically for sure. He had a brother in the NFL Combine this year, played at Utah State, Brady Boyd. He had a 40-inch vertical jump, a 10-foot, 10-inch broad jump, and a 4.45 second 40-yard dash, and was clocked at 4.38 seconds in the 40-yard dash previous to that. Brock Boyd is not far behind him. Coach's son as well. So I get, people don't talk about Brock Boyd's athleticism, but dude's up there with the best of them.
He's no bum.
You see the family traits there. I think Boyd has those as well. So, player to be excited about.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get to this defense.
Yeah, on the defensive side of the ball, man. Again, so many players out there running around with new numbers and whatnot. But had a conversation with a guy who brought up the defensive line a lot. And one of the first things I was told is all the different fronts, more specifically, a speed, a speed package versus a run stopping package seem to be rotating in and out more. Kenyatta Jackson and Epi were out there for the speed rush package. Epi looked really good out there. He is extremely fast off the line, is what somebody told me. KJ looked good as well. Quay Rasal out there in the speed packages. But another name, Will Smith Jr. is a name that got brought up because of his physicality and how he changed his body. And guys, let's not forget what he did last year coming in for K-Mac. You remember when K-Mac would always come in for, Tyleek Williams, and everybody's always like, hey, he really needs to work on his stamina so he can play more, so he can do those things. Yep. Well, I kind of felt the same way about Will Smith Jr. this year. People were saying the same type of things. Maybe didn't have the highlight reel that K-Mac did when he was coming in at number 2 nose guard, but still, Will Smith Jr., he was in the backfield a lot this year, handles double teams well, and has gotten even better in this offseason. So defensive line guys, again, all these conversations I have with people still keep leading me to believe this defensive line is probably the deepest defensive line we've had in quite some time. It just seems that players keep popping up. Each of them have their own different skill sets. And Matt Patricia is not afraid to utilize each player's individual skill sets and adjust his scheme accordingly. That's why I love hearing about these odd fronts that he's bringing out. They're practicing them. And doing well. So, you got a lot of players on there, but again, guys, you'll never, I put this in the article, you'll never guess the defensive lineman that, probably got the most love, man. It was James Smith. James Smith, again, people raving about him, talking about double teams just aren't going to get the job done on him. So that was exciting to hear. I'm waiting for him to get his black stripe removed. Going on to the secondary, man, another freshman, Jay Timmons. When I listened to those interviews today, it also got confirmed in those interviews. I forget who brought Jay up, or maybe it was somebody previously, but Jay Timmons
mentioned him.
Yeah, what was a player that one of my sources brought up and said the dude's going to be a player, man. The cerebral way that he comes to the game, the knowledge of the game that he has, is, his dad comes from the NFL. We knew that from recruiting, number 1 corner. And he seems to be catching on very quickly. When he makes a mistake, I was told it's rare that the dude's going to do it twice in a row. Very serious about his business. So another one of those updates where it seems like the room's very crowded. Why is that? It's because Earl Little has locked down the nickel position, the position where Jay Timmons probably had the best shot at getting the foot in the door, if you ask me. But again, a lot of things can change from there. But Earl Little Jr., man, got his black stripe removed. Over there on the message board, the Oracle also confirmed that, hey, it looks like Earl Little is locking down this nickel position. You heard JJ. That's right. You heard JJ do the pause in his interview about Earl Little, extremely versatile, which if you remember, nickel position last year and the year before that, Jordan Hancock, Lorenzo Styles. What was it about them that set them apart, that the NFL absolutely loved? Their versatility, man, their ability to play the nickel, get in the box, and also drop back in the safety. Well, Earl Little has been all over the field, making plays, and being a great addition to this team. So it seems like, the coaching staff did a phenomenal job in the transfer portal with him. Some other names to bring up in the secondary, man, is Devin Sanchez. We all saw the clip going around of Devin Sanchez with his rep against JJ. He did very good there, but, one of the sources brought up, hey, man, if you got to go up against JJ, Chris Henry Jr., Jaquaden Guilford, Brock Boyd, Brandon Ennis, Devin McQuinn, Phillip Bell, Desi Jones, you got to go up against all these receivers every single day.
You're going to get
better. What do you think's going to happen, man? Right. Yeah, there's a lot of people that, that people out there questioning how the big jump that Devin Sanchez is going to take this year. Well, dude, he played in the number one defense last year. The coaches trusted him in very serious moments. And towards the end of the season, the dude was all over people, breaking up passes, playing very well. Yeah, watch this clip, man. This is against JJ.
It's loading. Keep going because it's spinning.
Yeah,
man.
this is against JJ, man. But yeah, he has seemed to have taken a step up this offseason in the weight room, taking things very seriously like he always has. And this outside corner position is something that I think we got a little more depth at as well, with Devin Sanchez, Jermaine Matthews, Dominic Kelly, and Cam Calhoun coming in as well. But Devin Sanchez stepping his game up as well. So overall, the nugget I got mainly focused on the defensive line and talking about the dudes that are there, especially coming up. There's some guys that we haven't seen do much that a lot of people are forgetting about, man. Everybody wants to talk about all these transfers coming in. We have Zion Grady, Epi Satanile, Bo Atkinson. I know people's feelings about Bo Atkinson, but he has taken a step forward as well. So this defensive line, I am getting very excited to watch these dudes go out and ball this year.
Yeah, and so I got the clip to work, and y'all can look at that as the backdrop. But I wanted to respond about the defensive line, and not just that, but the comment you made in general, Dev, I think is very important, because like even when I was at practice last year, I couldn't watch every single player. I had a ton of notes, and I had some good stuff, but I'm one guy. You know what I'm saying? So just because I don't emphasize, and people was like, well, what about him? And what about, are they not stepping up? It's not that they're not stepping up. Some of them aren't, but that doesn't mean that they're not because I didn't mention them or emphasize them as much, or if a source didn't either. So I think that's very important, that you don't want to just assume a guy's not doing well or better or, stepping up because he wasn't mentioned as much. So great point about that. But yeah, this defensive line, I think, has a chance to be really, really good. James Smith, again, I told you on the other show a few days ago, he's a dog on the field, but off the field, I'm already like a big fan. Dude is super likable, super engaging. If you haven't watched his interview, watch it. He really gives some good nuggets, some good information. I know the media they're going to be 50 people at his table every time he speaks because the media was like, oh, I love the James Smith interview. So anyway, but yeah, great stuff, Devin. Do not forget about Will Smith Jr. He really popped. And again, I think that's such a dope story. I mean, I was a big fan as a young lad. I watched his dad dominate and win a national title. And now his son is here and he's looking good. That's incredible, Devin. So keep your eyes on Will Smith Jr., man. We should be able to roll out in waves with this D-line this year. And the updates about Earl Little Jr. have been consistent and strong. And so it just feels like we really got us one here. Maybe even, dare I say, an upgrade in that position with his ceiling and his ability. We'll see, but it sounds good, Dev.
Yeah, it does. It's exciting. I mean, when you go into the portal to get players, we've all seen hits and we've all seen misses. I think it's fair to say, I mean, there's very few surefire hits in the portal. I mean, Ethan Anianwa was called a second-round draft pick when we brought him in, and I mean, he was jotted down in everybody's notebook as the starting left tackle, and he didn't even make the starting lineup. So don't take for granted when this coaching staff goes out, they find these guys and bring them in, and they're hits because they're new faces. Everybody we bring in the portal, everybody gets so excited about. You can find somebody that loves them and says they're going to make an impact. I promise you, search long enough, there's going to be somebody reporting that, hey, this player is going to make a huge impact. Every single portal player that we bring in. But this is now the time when you're going to start to see, some of these guys take a little bit of a step forward, Now we're going to be looking for some of these other transfer portal players. Terry Moore, what's he up to? The All-American safety from Duke, took a whole year off. How much does that affect him? Not only hasn't played in a year, but he played for Duke, right? Little bit of a transition, that in itself, definitely after coming off of a year. So going a little bit slow in the spring right now, is full go, is fully healthy, but we got some dudes on this roster already. You know what I mean? We got some young guys that have been in here training. They've been part of this roster. The coaches have been coaching them up. There's a sign in the Woody called developed here for a reason. And I think people start to look at these transfer guys and automatically put them in places. I'd hold your horses, man. You got some young guys on this roster, some guys that have been around for quite some time that might have something to say about that. So,
yeah, for sure. No, that's good. Developed here. And it keeps showing. We got the NFL draft coming up, y'all. And bro, every time I pull my social media up, I hear another pundit. I just saw Louis Riddick gushing over Ohio State. I mean, talking about Sonny Styles specifically, but he talked about Arvell Reese. I mean, again, for those who are concerned about the train not rolling no more with bringing in guys, bringing in recruits. Listen, we're going to get into that a little bit as well. We had some recruits visit. We had some recruit schedule visits coming up. We had offers put out. I mean, listen, Ohio State is still popping. Heartline is gone. I know that. But guess what? Wide receiver recruiting has not stopped, slowed down at all. But speaking of wide receivers, Dev, I want to quickly go back to the offense just to touch on it, because we not only did we get some new interviews from players that we got introduced to, like James Smith, but we also got introduced to some new coaches. Now, last week, Arthur Smith, that was our first time hearing him in the presser, but now we got Hankton for the first time. And I'm about to pull that up. I want y'all to hear. I'm introducing you to him for those who don't do press conferences like me and Dev do. But not only do I want you to hear him speak, because he was very impressive as well, I want to talk about what he was mentioning, because another player in his room mentioned it too. And Devin, I think it's significant, because if we can do this, oh my God, you talking about this offense going to another level? Let's play the clip. Let me go ahead and share this, because I'm excited about this. So here's Hankton. Hold on. Let me go back and unmute.
You know, there has to be more opportunities to catch and carry the football. And so we have to be able to be explosive on all levels, first, second, and third. So we catch a 6-yard hitch, we have to be able to take it to a house. We catch a dig, we have to be able to take it to the house. And that has to be our mindset and mentality, that every time that we touch the football, we're going to score. And so what I've tried to do is add a little bit of personality to the room. I mean, sometimes, man, they so serious. And so I'm like, look, you know, the game of football is meant to be fun. And there's going to always be a time and place where the focus has to be laser. But also we have to embrace every single day and know that the game that we're playing is a blessing. Man, there's so many things that's going on in the world, man, and that can make you think twice about what you're doing. But when we step in between these white lines, you have to really embrace that moment and opportunity and just live in a moment.
Yeah, so very impressive guy. And so being introduced to him through the press conference, again, you could see why Brandon Ennis, Jeremiah Smith, and Carnell Tate in their meeting with Ryan Davis, like, that's him. That's our guy. That's our guy. Obviously, he has a resume. He has credentials. You can look at what he's done, but we're getting more and more information about this young man. And so I'm excited because, again, Dev, Jeremiah Smith, he's the #1 player in college football, all world, probably going to go #1, right? But guess what? He hasn't been really good in YAC. That is his deficiency. With all the greatness about his game, he came out in the press conference and said, basically, I don't want to paraphrase, but he basically said he hasn't been very good. The wide receiver room in general has not been good with YAC. Yards after catch is YAC. For those who don't know, I don't want to assume everybody listening knows what that is. Yards after the catch. I complain in my group chats about Jeremiah Smith being brought down too easily after catching the ball. I'm like, dude, you 6'4" or 6'4", whatever, and you run a 4.3. I need you to break some more tackles. Listen, I love Jeremiah Smith, but now he's actually publicly saying it. And this young man is basically saying, this is what we're going to do this year. So it's one thing being able to beat somebody 60 yards deep if the O-line protects, and we have time to throw downfield. It's a whole other thing if we can throw a hitch to Kyle Parker or to Jeremiah Smith and take it 60. If that can happen more consistently, oh boy. You talk about everything being opened up, run game, everything. So I'm excited about that, Devin. What's your thoughts on that, about JJ admitting that? And then what's your first impressions of Cortez Hankton?
First off, man, I've never met a player, never seen a player like JJ Smith that every single interview, he just impresses me so much, man. To be JJ Smith and to have the humility that this kid has, I mean, that just goes to speak of, number one, the parents and coaches that helped form him into that, and also what Ohio State has continued to do with him, man. The intangibles that Ohio State teaches into these kids, I think, is a huge reason why there's so many Buckeyes succeeding in the NFL, because that's when those intangibles mean the most. When you're off on your own, you got a bunch of money, you don't have people all around you telling you what to do, you're going to do whatever you want to do. What are you going to fall back on? You're going to fall back on your morals, your ethics, your teaching, your spirituality. Those things are what's going to lead you. And Ohio State addresses those things. And you can see that with JJ Smith I mean, he's a number 1 overall draft pick, but it's like, dude, NFL GMs are watching this interview right here. Just every single one of his answers is like perfect. Yeah. And it's not scripted. Like, that's who he is. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. And then, Cortez Hankton coming in seems like the perfect fit. I love the personality that he brings to the room, especially because you already said it. I mean, Brandon Ennis, JJ Smith, and Carnell Tate chose him. But more importantly, I love hearing that they are focused on the yards after the catch, man, because and we're nitpicking here, guys. And also, J.J. Smith was double and triple teamed, so every time he caught the ball, he would have to beat not just one, but 2 or 3 people. But still, even Carnell Tate last year, if I had one time, I mean, there was a couple moments when I was like, dang, dude, like, why did you go down, or why didn't you go this way? And yeah, listen, it's easy to watch it on TV and say he should have went this way, should have went that way. But I already told you I'm nitpicking here. If there's one area to nitpick, the wide receiver room last year, and it's the yards after the catch. But they'll tell you that. J.J. Smith told us that. They're focused on it. Brought in some players to help with that this year. And one thing I do know is if J.J. Smith is focused on something, I'd probably watch out. I would bet a large sum of money that his yards after the catch goes up by a lot this year because the dude is focused. And also with the way Brandon Ennis went out and got that Iron Buckeye, I would say this wide receiver room, this entire team is focused on being explosive and yards after the catch. And, when you're a Buckeye and you're this focused and this determined at something, I would say it's probably going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, I'm going to play this clip because I see y'all in the chat. I'm going to oblige your questions about this specific clip right here. But real quick, JJ Smith is not just hoping and wishing that he can get more YAC. He specifically talked about how they're working on it. There's techniques, there's drills that Hankton is a big speed guy. Okay. He's a speed guy. And shoot, even look at Kyle Parker. He had some YAC like last year, like he had good YAC. And so, I mean, the room is very capable of doing it, but Hartline was great. He had his thing. He had his teachings, but now from what I've heard from these guys, including JJ Smith, now Hankton is bringing other things to add to their repertoire, to add to their basket. And so, to me, it's just like you got all that good Heartline training, and then now Hankton got some different things to add on top of that, and it's just crazy. But to the chat, y'all asking about J.J. Smith's comments about schools coming after him and what schools. Here is the clip right here I'm about to play.
Every college program in the country would want you. Was there ever any question in your mind that you were going to be at Ohio State for you?
No, I was always going to be at Ohio State.
Did you give an idea of just what programs tried to throw at you?
No comment.
Okay.
JJ,
were you surprised? Were you surprised at that?
Surprised that?
Maybe things coming your way offer-wise may or may not be.
No, I wasn't surprised. I mean, I knew, especially at the end of that game, that a certain program will come at me very hard. But I'm not going to sit on hands. I think everybody here knows who it was. But
What did you see from
All right. So first and foremost, Dev, I'm going to quickly say something, then I want you to respond. First and foremost, his recruitment, I know people were spazzing out and just freaking out because he was taking his visits and all that other stuff. But the kid kept saying, as long as Heartline and Data don't leave, I will be a Buckeye. Okay? He kept saying it, and it came to pass. He became a Buckeye. Miami, which is the school that he's referring to when he said after the game, everybody, I'm not going to say no names. It's Miami. Come on. We know who it is. They threw all the bags at him. They offered him more cash up front than we did. And he still curved them from the very beginning. Okay. So after that game, Miami, they beat us. Okay. The U is back. Whatever. Of course they came after him. He curved them again. You feel me? He could have went there and been the hometown hero, made more money potentially, and I'm coming back home on some bron. He decided to stay a Buckeye with Heartline leaving too. So to me, this young man, you talk about loyalty, you talk about big picture, all of that. And also you talk about the culture of this program. And so it's funny, Dev, and I can pull the clip up after I get done here. But it's funny because Miami fans were really turning up the heat, trying to shame him. Uncle Luke from 2 Live Crew, y'all know who Luke is, Luke Campbell. He's a big Miami fan, big Miami guy. He tried to shame Jeremiah Smith into not basically abandoning your hometown and all the other stuff. They're putting pressure on him to come back home. You're the missing piece, all the other crap. Still curved them. But they were trying to make it seem like, Dev, like, oh, well, you come home and like there's a clip I'm going to show of him walking through Miami at a camp, kids just swarming him. Here in Columbus at the mall, literally the mall packed out. It was Dick's Sporting Goods at Easton. Just crazy. It doesn't matter where he goes. The people in Miami still love him. And the people in Columbus, it's JJ Smith. Anyway, Dev, what you got, bro?
No, I mean, according to Miami fans, you're wrong. They beat us, and they have Malachi Toney, who's better than JJ Smith. So they don't want JJ anymore. They don't need JJ anymore. They offered him $10 million to go to their team this year, tampered with him, did all those things, and it didn't work, but they don't really want him. They only offered him $10 million. But yeah, dude, again, another thing to point towards JJ just being like the overall perfect definition of a Buckeye, of a recruit, everything a coach wants in a player. Not only is he this physically gifted, but I think people forget that he is legit. I'm not there, so I can't say this, but a lot of people say he's the hardest working player on the team, right? I mean, he would have went first round draft pick, top 10 his freshman year. If he went out this year, he'd be top 5, maybe number 1 overall draft pick. You're talking about somebody who's probably going to be the number 1 overall draft pick, the first wide receiver pick, number 1 in the NFL draft since I believe 1996. There's argument. I'm arguing with somebody in the chat about that now. I think he's going number 1 overall. QB, no QB. I think he is. I think he's better than some of these other guys they're bringing up in the chat. But it just goes to speak the type of person that JJ is, man. He's a great example for these guys. And yeah, like he's getting way more fanfare here than he would in Miami. You know what I'm saying? They can't even fill their stadium for a home game. Like
Right.
JJ cannot leave his apartment. He literally in interviews he talks about that. He has to order things in, can't go to the grocery store, he can't leave. I mean, he can't go anywhere. He would get swarmed immediately, but just goes to speak of his character, man, and it's amazing.
Yep, for sure. He even said he had to use fake names for DoorDash. And I thought about those commercials, those old commercials where the white dude named Michael Jordan would like go to a restaurant for his reservations and people would be disappointed, like, oh, I was expecting Michael Jordan. And so he has to change names on his DoorDash. So, I mean, I know that's like first world problems for a young man. The point is that he chose wisely, okay, for development, for his future. I mean, everything. And listen, I'm not saying Miami is a terrible school. Miami is a good program. Okay, Miami is Miami. One thing I've noticed though, Dev, and you down there in Florida, but this is one thing I've noticed, and I was just telling my homies this the other day. When I hear some of these young men in interviews, recruits, and even players on the team from that area, it seems to me like there's a longing. I don't want to misspeak. It seems to me a lot of those young men kind of want to get out of Dade County, right? Because listen, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I love my city. I'm Midwest to the soul. Like you can't tell me nothing. I'm 614. However, there's something exciting like Miami. You know what I'm saying? It's Miami, dog. But they live there. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of an old hat. I'm not saying they don't love hometown. They got hometown pride like anybody else. But what's exciting to us, because we don't have palm trees and beaches, I mean, it's like, And then, of course, they don't show Dade County, like where Trick Daddy lives. It's funny I'm bringing up Trick Daddy because, you know, that's my nickname for the weather thing. But that's where he's from. And so Dade County, everything ain't palm trees and beaches down in Miami. You feel me? So a lot of these young men seem like they want to get up out of there. And it's you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm saying that to say, look, JJ, we're glad you became a Buckeye. He's going to be an all-time great. Appreciate him. We're going to blink and it's going to be next year. And we're going to be talking about JJ. Is he going first or not? Appreciate this young man, especially with a second-year Julian Sand pulling the trigger, Dev.
No, I mean, dude, you're right. There's several players that, I mean, not just in Miami, but there are some players that they want to get away from their hometown just because of things going on. I mean, even in my little hometown in good old Fleming, Ohio, there was, you know, if you get around the wrong things, you need to get out, get a fresh start. But let's just be honest about it. There's a lot of distractions in Miami. Like there are more distractions in Miami than there is in Columbus, Ohio. Like I'm just keeping it real with you guys. I've been to Miami several times.
Yeah.
Distracting, especially for a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid coming into a large sum of money. I mean, I don't know that you can find a more like, I don't want to say dangerous place to put them, but you better be on your P's and Q's.
It's
be
top
very
5.
mature.
top 5, or it might be top 3. It might be top 3, low key.
No. Yeah, I'm calling it top 2. I don't imagine how they're, bro. I've been on vacation there. I you know, that's just what it is. Like Miami is the nightlife. Like that's just, there's more nightlife there than there is day life at Miami. It's just there's a lot of distractions there. I think anybody, you know, with some common sense can realize what we're talking about and understand that. And that's not even a shot at them. It's just is what it is. Some players just they don't even want that near them because they don't want the chance. They don't want the distraction. And sometimes things are distractions whether you want them to be or not. You know what I'm saying? But again, you can say that about, you know, several different players, not just Miami, but several different places as well. Sometimes people just want to go get a fresh start, mainly because they want to be uncomfortable because they know that change does not come packaged without discomfort. And they don't want to remain the same player that they were in high school. They want to get better. So go put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and see if you live up to the bill, man, because the NFL is going to put you through it. So you might as well see if you can do it now so you don't flame out.
Yep, good point. Yeah, and that's another thing. We didn't even mention the weather. You better get out of that comfy. Well, I won't even say comfy because that extreme heat in Miami and the hurricanes literally is a problem. But you're going to get some. If you don't think you're ready to travel to Buffalo for the AFC Championship, come to Columbus and it will get you ready it'll get you ready for Lambeau Field, Buffalo, Cleveland off that lake, all that. Like we get everything here. We get extreme heat here. We get snow and hail and all types of foolishness here in 48 hours, literally. So anyway, anything else, Dev, before we jump to these super chats?
No, I need to do a recruiting show. Been getting some recruiting updates. Got a Jet Harrison update, the number one
Yeah, I
player
meant
in
to
the
mention
nation.
Jet.
He was here. Ronaldo Perez, a defensive lineman out of Ohio, has been on campus for some time here. So I got some little recruiting tidbits I need to get on here and talk to you guys about, give you guys some updates there. But Jet Harrison, Marvin Harrison's younger brother, is the number one player, overall player in the country. In the 2028 class, he was visiting. I think it's pretty obvious that the Buckeyes are in a pretty good spot there. I think
Yeah.
the Harrisons want to see what Cortez Hankton's about, what he does. But I was told they were already aware of Cortez before he got to Ohio State. So, I think another thing to speak to, what a great hire it was. Some people were talking about Keyshawn Bowman, top 10 wide receiver the Buckeyes were in on, just committed to Tennessee today. And a lot of people are like, well, this is Cortez Hankton for you. A lot of LSU fans are coming in saying, hey, we told you guys, Cortez Hankton. I'm like, bro, one dude chose Tennessee, a school that will overpay for recruits. Like, that's not a secret. They like somebody. They're gonna buy their parents a house. That's just what they're gonna do.
Right. Yeah.
No
Man.
shade. No shade. Sports Talk, Jay. Tennessee. I don't mind Tennessee.
Yeah, Sports Talk Jay, by the way, bro. I'm sorry your boys got absolutely smashed today. I was rooting. I didn't watch the game. I was coaching. We had practice. Our team had practice. And so I came home and I saw the score. I was like, ooh. But yeah, I mean, you guys made it to the Elite Eight. I know you said you weren't expecting them to get past the Sweet 16. So kudos to y'all. Great season, great run. But dang, man, what was a 30-point loss, 27-point loss? That bites. Sorry, man.
I didn't know that. Did they
Yeah.
really?
They got
smoked.
smashed. Yep.
Who'd
All
they
right. Michigan. Tennessee. They lost to Michigan by almost 30 points today.
Oh my.
I believe unless I'm tripping. Let me double check. I will double. Am I tripping, y'all? I could have swore the score was like,
dude.
Yeah, 95 to 62.
I guess I'm just so far behind because Michigan just played Alabama. So I'm like, bro, when did this happen?
Yeah, bro. I mean,
I don't follow
when you live in life and doing stuff, you'll blink. It's like, oh, hold on. It's Final Four. Yeah, or yep. So Stilly Matt, thanks for the 199. Happy Sunday, Scoop family. Great to see you all. Always good to see you, Stilly Matt, and everyone in this glorious chat. Greatly appreciate y'all. Y'all always hold it down, man. Yeah. Anything on that, Dev?
Nah, appreciate Steely, man. He's been here through the beginning, through all the fire, the storm, the tribulations. So shout out my dude Steely. Good dude, man. Glad he's still here and glad to call him a friend.
Yep, for sure, man. One of the most consistent cats, helpful, considerate cats you're gonna meet, man. Good dude. All right. Once again, Stilly, shout out Devin Sanchez and Riley Pettyjohn. Yeah, man. The Sanchez family, Pettyjohn families, big friends of the show. They've been on with Devin countless times. And so I know Riley Pettyjohn's dad is on here often. And so I haven't seen the Sanchez's in a minute. Might have to get, unless I'm just missing them.
Daniel's going to be on the show on Tuesday, and then Duke's going to be on the show later in the week. So I just scheduled that with Daniel today. So
that's great, man. I'm looking forward to it. Great guys, great perspectives, and so that's dope, man. And it's really good to see Sanchez out there banging with JJ Smith and all that, man. Because like Dev said, was he perfect last year? No, he was a true freshman, but he was playing over Aaron Scott. He was playing over Bryce West. So the staff thought he was pretty darn good. And so the leap he's going to take this year with his size, speed, ability, I cannot wait. I think we're going to get a pick 6 from him this year. That is my prediction. All right.
Hey, real fast, B.
Yeah.
Daniel's supposed to come on Tuesday. Got to get it. We're waiting to confirm there. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. That's not 100% confirmed yet, but it's lightly scribbled in the thing. And one thing too, Devin Sanchez played corner That's not the easiest position to come into
Right.
as a freshman. I just had to mention that.
Right, for sure, for sure. 812 Slumpy, thanks for the 4.99. Not enough talk about this IU rematch. Thoughts? So, I think Slumpy, which is a fun name, I think a part of the lack of talk about it is two things, in my opinion. One, the overall schedule is crazy, right? You're at Texas, at USC, you got Oregon at home, you got what's the other at Iowa, which is always trappy and goofy, and there's another at I'm forgetting. I said at Texas, and of course
USC?
at Indiana. Yeah, I mentioned USC, so I guess it's
Okay.
kind of dominated by so many different games. You're kind of like got your attention on, but on the other side, the second thing I think why is because I don't know about you, Dev, but I'm curious to see. I know they're going to be good again because they have a good coach and they brought in some good players, but they just lost the Heisman Trophy winner and the #1 overall draft pick in Mendoza, and some other really good seasoned players who have been there. Some who've been there for years, like that receiver. I never remember his name. Their big receiver. He's good. And then some other guys. And so are they going to still be able to have that same lightning in the bottle? I don't know. I know they're going to be good, but I don't know if they're going to be as good. So for me, it's like I'm pumped for the game because I want to beat them at Indiana and get our get back. I just don't know how good they're going to be, Dev.
I mean, I'm super intrigued to see, but they did lose a large, core of their team, I would say, along with the #1 overall draft pick. A lot of those players were with Coach Sig at his previous spot, followed him to Indiana. So he had a really good core with him. And how many times have we seen, a lot of different teams try to utilize the portal to get Texas A&M, Texas. There's teams all over the country trying it, and sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. It's not a surefire way, but with Coach Sig operating that there, you definitely can't sleep on him. But I'm super intrigued to see what they do this year. My expectations is that they're nowhere near, as good as they were last year. But I mean, I kind of hold my tongue a little bit till I see, because
Yeah.
I mean, he just won a national title. So I'm not
Right.
going to say too much else. I am very intrigued to see what he does this year, though.
Yeah, me too. Again, Mendoza was such as goofy as he is in interviews. To me, he's kind of a weird guy in interviews. He's a zany, weird type of guy. Let's just be honest. But he's a great leader, obviously, and a great player. He stepped up and put his team on his back when he needed to, with his legs or with his arm. I respect it. So is the new kid, as talented as he is coming in as a transfer, is he going to be able to do that? Or are they going to still have that same magic of unlikely magic, in my opinion, that they had last year? I just don't know. And maybe a part of it, Dev, is I'm so conditioned in my mind, and please don't take this, Indiana fans. I know y'all sensitive out there. Y'all be getting so mad. But you're Indiana, man. My entire life, I've known Indiana as the bottom feeder. Outside of Antoine Randall L. When I was a kid, he was a dog. You don't remember him, Dad. He was a quarterback. He was a dual threat quarterback for Indiana. Got drafted by the Steelers, ended up being a skill guy. But other than that, Indiana has been trash my entire life. And so now, all of a sudden, they win a national title. It's like, what in the world is going on? So I guess I'm a little skeptical, Hippo, that they're going to be able to sustain that extreme outlier of success last year. But again, I think they're going to be good because they got a good coach and they got good players. But I just don't know if they're going to match last year's success. Okay.
B, I got to say one more thing, man. After this year, after Indiana won, a lot of people fell in love with the transfer portal thing, saying that. I was strongly against that. Strongly against strictly utilizing the transfer portal and not really concerning yourself with recruiting. I mean, even a lot of Buckeye Nation were like, hey, man, go in and get the experience. Go in and get the experienced players because of 1 year. Indiana did it 1 year.
Right.
Blew me away, the amount of people that were going there. I'm not convinced of that. And Indiana just signed the 20th ranked class. Before that, the 38th, before that, the 46th. So, the transfer portal, they rely on the
Yeah.
transfer portal.
Right.
Like I said.
And is that sustainable? Like, I mean, to the point
Correct.
where you actually rely on it.
Yep.
I can't say Ohio State's relying on it. We had to make moves because of the reaction, like we had to react. But yeah, that's different. So Will the Thrill, I'm going to read your comment. All right, here we go. Thanks for the $9.99, Will the Thrill. Haven't been on live in a while, but still watch every show as I can. Thank you guys for always reporting the truth and not becoming an OSU bashing show. Scoop for life. OH Dev.
IO.
Yep. Listen, that's always going to be our goal, is to, first of all, we love to do this. Okay. Being able to come on here and talk about, Buckeye football, which I love, with a great brother like Dev and Nevada and Funky. It's wonderful. And then, of course, the best chat in the world and you wonderful people. It's a beautiful thing. And so, yes, we're going to bring you great content. We're going to tell you the truth. We're going to provide all of that. And we're going to give you our opinion about, what we see, what we don't, whatever. So again, it's a privilege and honor to be able to do that, Dev. What you got?
No, man, I love it too. I love being a part of Scoop. I love being friends with B Moses. Everybody here, man. I know that, there's people that don't like us, that don't like me, that say things, that do all these things, but I love them. I pray for those people and hope that, all the best for them. But I'm just here to talk Buckeye football, man. As always, I kind of try to drown out that outside noise as much as possible and just talk Buckeye football because I love it, man. I love these player interviews, hearing the story of these young kids, man. I love seeing hope. I spent so long working in ministry and not seeing, real hopeful stories. I saw a lot, but, I saw the other side of it too. So to continue being attached to something that I can see, kids go from high school to college, to the NFL, through Ohio State, man. That's a hopeful success story. I love it, but we always try to keep it real here. I always will keep it real with you guys. I've been very open about my past, my life, and all that stuff. But this is a Buckeye football YouTube show. It's always going to be that when I come on here. That's what I'm going to talk about. I love it. I know B feels the same way, and we love you guys watching every single night.
For sure, man. All right. Hold on. Did I skip one? I did. Stilly Matt, thanks for the $1.99. Shout out to the haters from Massiveville Scoop. Massive. Never seen a word trigger so many people. It's amazing. Toledo Geo, thanks for the $2. MIA, the home of trouble. It wasn't called C-Bus Vice. Yeah. So exactly. So y'all get it. Miami Vice. Like Miami, top two. I'm trying to think if Miami's not number one as far as worst place for distractions for a young kid with money. What's number one? LA? Would it be LA?
I don't know that would it even be USC. I don't even really know where exactly is USC. I know where Miami is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know how many minutes it is from like the metropolitan area of LA, but it's close. Correct. I mean, it's not like it's an hour away. I mean, USC is it's close. It's LA. So Miami low key might be number one, bro. Like,
dude,
I might have to post this as a trivia question on Scoop and on my socials, because I'm curious. Top 5 most distracting college football cities. Like that's the question. Miami low key might be number one. But anyway, yeah, we might have to circle back to that for sure. 812 Slumpy, thanks for the $4.99. 812 is Indiana area code. I'm from here as a Buckeye fan, and I'm tired of them talking. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't recognize the 812. This is the tiebreaker, plus they have a win streak at home. So that's good. Thank you for that insight. We need to bust up that win streak, just like we busted up that Washington Huskies win streak. We need to do that. And yes, they have been talking. Look, I said this before, Dev, and Indiana fans, I triggered them for some reason. I gave them props. I said all last season they were good. I kept saying y'all are really good. But I guess they didn't like some of my memes. I guess the Coming to America, let them wear our princely robes. That really pissed them off. But listen, we got to get our get back. They are talking. They've won once in literally a lifetime. And I just wasn't thinking they was going to be that crazy with the talk, but they have been. So we got to get them back in their house. And I think we will, Devin.
Yeah. 81, 12, and 5. We beat them 30 games in a row.
Yeah.
Until the 13-10 victory they had against us. We beat them 81 times. They beat us 12 times. So, you know, they got a while to go before there's any tiebreaker or anything. But, you know, we'll see. They did win the national title. Congrats. But
Yeah.
81, 12, 5.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see if they can sustain. Let's see. All right. From Stilly Matt, thanks for the 199. B Moses and Dev, my brothers from another mother. Indeed. Indeed, man. Indeed. Now, listen, real quick. I saw who said that when stars align. You said Vegas. The problem is, but there is no, I mean, UNLV, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. If there was a major college football program in Vegas, the number one spot in my Will Miller, for those who know Will Miller from social media, number one spot. If there was a major program in Vegas, number one, hands down.
What about,
not even close?
Yeah, I was going to say Texas, Austin, Texas. I don't know. I don't
Compared
know,
to Miami, though, no.
I've never been to Austin.
Okay.
I don't think I have.
Well,
have I been?
Okay,
there?
I've never been to.
But
Austin
no, not
either.
compared to Miami, though.
Yeah.
No.
So from what everything, and I was tempted to go to the Texas game this year at Texas with the wife, because we've both never been to Texas. But from everything I hear, Austin is very comparable to Columbus. Okay, pretty big city. It's similar vibes and stuff like that. But I don't know. Listen, we're going to do this top 5 distraction program list, man, because that's crazy. Yeah.
If you just want to go off like straight facts and evidence, I think we're way off chart here. Clearly, Michigan is number 1, right? Right?
Well, I guess
shouldn't we?
It depends on the riffraff that you have there.
Well, yeah.
So
I've just heard that the blondes there just hit differently. I don't know.
Jesus, man. Yes, they have to be. Consider them on your list as you're, putting your list together. That's an excellent point. I you know what? Again, I'm going to post this on the scoop board when we get done because I'm curious to see people's answers. But listen, that is it. Any last comments, Dev, before we bang out of here?
No, man. Buckeye Nation, I know there's a lot of new faces, inside that Woody right now. I know it's exciting when you get new faces, and there's some dogs that have been there for quite some time that I think are going to make a splash this year, surprise some people, as well as some transfers that are going to, come in here. Matt Patricia's changing things up a little bit. Arthur Smith's in the door. A lot of new defensive line coaches coming in, which is something else to pay attention to when we're talking about what this defensive line is going to be this year. But a lot of good things to talk about, man. It's awful good to be part of Buckeye Nation, man, a program that seems to be doing things the right way all over the place, all around, man. And, I couldn't be happier, rooting for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
For sure. Again, lots more spring ball to talk about, information, nuggets, content, whatever. We're going to be on top of it, all over it. And so, as always, we greatly appreciate y'all. We're going to get out of here. Until next time, go Bucks. Peace.